What's up, everyone? How we all doing out there today? Coach Rob here, Coffee and Curls.
Good morning.
My counterpart, Coach Allie, my better half.
And my coffee.
We got two cameras going here. We're live on Facebook, live on Instagram as well. So today, Coffee and Curls, a little bit of kind of movement-oriented strength workout, functional physique is what I would call it. Some structural work. We're working on building back up with some hypertrophy focus. There's a time and a place for every modality and type of training. And I've noticed as I've gotten a little bit older, some of my muscle has fallen off purposely on most of it so that I could kind of restabilize with some movement development patterns to stay safe and more of a functional lifestyle. But now that I've really created that foundation, I put in that work, about 4 years of more yoga and body weight movement. It's time to start adding the barbell and the strength and a little bit of muscle mass. And so over the next couple months, hopefully you guys continue this journey with us, not just live here on Facebook, but live in person as well. We'll be releasing our new schedules for E5 Academy later this evening. Really exciting stuff. We have a bunch of new classes to accommodate the changes and the adjustments and the mandates and all of the crazy stuff. Red tape everywhere, right? So we have brand new dummies for jiu-jitsu and combat conditioning classes. We have more boxing and kickboxing, more strength classes. You'll see myself and my lovely wife over here on schedule quite a bit in Springfield, as well as a bit in Eugene. So really excited, enough talking, but a lot of crazy things coming up within the next week, 2 weeks. So hope to see you guys soon. So today, mobility piece, we have 4 exercises. First one, if you have a broomstick or a mop stick or a PVC pipe, we're gonna go through shoulder pass-throughs. We've been working on those the last couple weeks. I'm gonna try to keep some consistency with movement patterns that we've had over the last couple weeks so that hopefully if you've been following along, you can continue to adapt in a favorable way that you're improving your body's mechanics. So, number 1, broomstick pass-throughs. Number 2, inchworms. Number 3, loaded beast to deep lunge. It's more of a primal kind of yoga flow movement, more dynamic. We've been drilling it the last couple weeks, so again, it's a repeat, about the 3rd week in a row on this exercise. And number 4 is going to be more of a static controlled kettlebell goblet squat hold. We'll work a little bit of movement in the bottom, but we're really looking to open up the hips, knees, and ankles in that one, thoracic spine. We're going to take that through 3 rounds, and we'll go through reps on it. I'll talk about the reps as we go. And it's going to be what we call an EMOM, every minute on the minute, okay? EMOM. The last, part B, the deadlift, strength workout, we have 4 rounds, EMOM as well. We're going to build up in strength on a barbell deadlift today. Now, strength is relative to your rest break and intensity levels. We're not taking much rest. We're going EMOM, so it's more of a conditioning, build up in strength, very minimal rest. If I was going for a max lift, I'd take, minutes in between. And I would do probably, about maybe even more sets building up to it. But today, we're going more for heavy load, but not maximum, right? About 70%, I would say, 60 maybe. Right from there, we go into heavy kettlebell swings, 15 of them. Number 3 is a barbell floor press for 10 reps. This, we're gonna move with a really slow negative or eccentric until we pause on the ground for a 2-second pause, and then a dynamic power push out of it. Often in jiu-jitsu or combat situations, or even different athletics, we end up in a place where we're in a resting position, like I think jiu-jitsu, a frame, and then having to push off and create the power to drive out of something, like if you were to shrimp or hip escape or sweep or whatever, you've got to have that dynamic hip explosion. So that's what we'll go for. And the final one is sandbag rotation into a back lunge. So that way we're getting a little bit of core movement, opening some things up, not real heavy, just more for coordination, balance, agility, accuracy, all of that. Enough talking, that's the coffee part. That's what you get. Coffee and curls. Let's roll. Timer?
Mm-hmm. I got it.
Excellent.
So every
set it for minutes. Step back, kind of platform, so we got some room in here. All right, so PVC pass-throughs, take a nice wide grip on it. The wider the better to start with. You need to make sure you have enough clearance above head to pass it through. If you're new to these, take a super wide grip where you can barely pass through, okay, just to be safe on the first couple. We can progress as we go. I want you to roll the shoulders back, proud chest, hips are neutral, ribs are down, not arched in the lower back. Keep it down nice and tight. And we're going to slowly pass it through, keeping those elbows locked out, fully extended. Touch the lower back. So you're stretching the wrist in the very end. Try to keep all your fingers on it, including your pinky. And you have 10 reps. Once you get to 10, I want you to take a short little rest. So Allie will finish a little bit before me because I started after. I like to talk a lot. And you may have a battery thing here on Strong Jitsu site over here. All right, so that was 10 pass-throughs, hopefully. Now we move into inchworms, so set the PVC down. Feet are together underneath of your hips. I want you to hinge those hips back. Nice neutral spine, find your fingertips. Walk it all the way out. Like 6-inch walk on each step, lower down into a push-up. Push it back up. Down dog, find your heels if you can. Start to push back into those heels. Stiff legs, stand it all the way up, hands up. 1, back down, nice flat back, walk it out. Lower it down. Down dog back, walk it back. Hands up, open those hips, open those shoulders, hinge back. Number 3. Push back, down dog, find it, walk it back. Hands up. 4, back down, hinge back, walk out. Walk it out, now walk it out. Walk it out, now walk it out. Walk it out, now walk it out. Boom, okay, hands up. Beautiful. Okay, start in a tabletop position on your hands and knees. Wrists below your elbows, elbows below your shoulders, knees below your hips. Lift your knees to 1 inch off the ground and flex all the way back into your toes, your ankles, your knees. Right from here, you're gonna spring your right foot forward into a deep lunge just outside of your right hand. And back, load it up. And up with the hips, and through with the leg. And up with the hips, and back, and load. Up with the hips, leg through, and back, and up, and through, and back. Up. Good. One more, even it out. Good, nice work. All right, that was number 4. No, we have kettlebell goblet spot. So you've got kettlebell. Find a weight that's comfortable, it doesn't have to be super heavy. You're gonna rest in the bottom of the squat. Try to take those toes forward as much as you can. External rotation of the femurs. So knees tracking over the second toe. Chest is nice and upright. Elbows on the inside of the knees so you can kind of create that support system. Let's work. A little bit of movement, heel to heel. You can come forward in the ankles, so driving the knees forward a little bit. Opening up the ankles, the knees, the hips. If you're on Strong Jitsu Instagram right now live, if my phone dies on this one, sorry. Charger didn't work overnight, one of those mornings. If we cut off, go over to Facebook at E5 Academy, and we're live there as well. So E5 Academy Facebook. Broomstick pass-throughs. Grab your broomstick. Take that nice wide grip. Shoulders roll back, ribs are down, hips are neutral. Pass it through, nice and controlled. Start to take a little more of a narrow grip if you can. Opening up the shoulders, creating a little more tension. Keep those elbows extended, locked out. Triceps contracted. Short ribs, tight abs, meaning keep those ribs down, keep those abs tight, hips are neutral. It all connects. Feet are underneath your hips. Excellent. Nice and controlled, almost there. 5. Last one, mama says. And down. Good. I can't remember one thing to the next, so I always have to look at my teleprompter. I pull the Joe Biden. I pull the Joe Biden. I forget my workout, in the middle of it. That's me. All right, broomstick into inchworms. Hands up. Hips hinge backwards. Find your fingertips. Walk it out. Walk it out now. Walk it out. Push it up. Back into down dog. Walk it all the way back. Raise it up. Hands up and down. Let's move a little faster now. Work some movement in here. Down. Push it up. Back. Lower down, add a cobra in, and down, up, back, and one more, down. Good, show this. I don't think our timer's working.
I stopped because I thought you were doing it.
Yeah, but we are on the minute. It's all good. She stopped my clock over here, so trying to squeeze extra rounds on me. That's how she does it.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Back to that tabletop position, loaded beast. So, knees under hips, elbows below wrist, raise the knees 1 inch off the ground, load it up, push back, gazes forward to your hands. Now let's really find this crouch, find your ankles, find all that good stuff. Now on your toes, shoot your hips up. Take the toe up on this one, and cycle it through. Deep lunge. Good. Push it back up, toe into the air, right foot, and back down. Load it up. Gaze forward. Shoot the hips up. Left foot up, toe to the ceiling. Cycle it through. Open everything up. I'm feeling cracking and popping in there when I do that. Got that old man-itis thing going on. All right, here we go. Hips up, bring the foot up, and down, and push it back. Nice work. Into kettlebell goblet squat. Toes between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock and 11. So 11 to 1 is good. Find that position. Knees tracking over the second toe. So if you think of the tip of the patella, track it over the second toe. Ankles are down. Arches are lifted slightly, but not overarched. Chest is up. Extension in that thoracic spine. Nice and tall. Sit those hips down. Work into the ankles. Let's go right to left. You can lift 1 foot off the ground a little bit. That's okay. A little movement in there is good. This is where the ankles, you can really get a lot of rotation in here. Even the knees as well. Good. Nice work. Push those heels down. Straighten those feet out. Push those knees out wider. Good. And down. And round 3, back to the broomstick. Here we go, 10 of them. We're on the minute now. So after you complete 10, we'll take whatever rest time is remaining for rest. Moving a little quicker, a little more dynamic on this round now. As you can see, still focusing on those locked elbows though, but really starting to get that rotation, get that dynamic movement in there, because that's what's going to happen as we really start to push on most of this. I think that was like 10. Yes. Short little rest. Okay, right into inchworms next. All right, let's get this. Here we go, 5 inchworms. Hips hinge back. Walk it out. Push up, down. Cobra up. And down. Push up, hips up. Down, down. Walk it back. Raise up, hands up. These take like the whole clock. Inchworms are everybody's favorite, said nobody. It's like the equivalent to the strict burpee. Yeah. Boom. 5. All right, loaded beast. Here we go. Back down to tabletop position. Knees under hips, wrist under your elbows. Let's find your toes underneath of you. Let's raise 1 inch off the ground. Draw all the way back into full flexion of the ankles, knees, and hips. Gaze is forward in between your palms, your hands. We're gonna shoot the hips high, take your right foot to the ceiling, and cycle it forward into the deep lunge. We're gonna move quick on these now. Here we go, up, foot up, and through, and back. Up, foot up, and through, and back. Up. One more. Into kettlebell goblet squat. Rotation of the femurs. Again, the important part is not like toes out. Like in a real world, in a perfect world, if we could get our hips to a place that we could squat with our patellas pointing straight forward, second toe to 12 o'clock. That's a beautiful position, but here's the reality. Not all of us have the same anatomical structures within our hips, how we're born, our skeletal systems, and then development over time. Your place of normal is where you're used to riding, okay? And if you try to make a hard adjustment overnight and start moving in a total different pattern right away, you're gonna have a bad result. It's gonna grind it out too hard. So I kind of look at some of those positions. That was our third and final round of those. Like the knee out cue, that was a big one for like early days of CrossFit. Coach Dr. Kelly Starrett, wizard. If you don't know him, you should look it up. But there was a cue that he commonly used, really mainstream, which was a knees out cue. You'll kind of read about it in his book, The Supple Leopard. There have been adjustments on that stuff. It's relative to that second toe, okay? So if those toes are turning out, and that's a natural place, try to progress, right? Practice is progress, and that's key. So continually try to work those toes in. But again, like my max squat, I think was top of all time was 655, and my toes were turned out. You know, but those knees tracked over the second toe and the adductors supported, and that's what really matters, okay? So, but for long-term health, with those toes straight forward, even better. All right, we're gonna build up in some strength on some deadlifts now. Again, we have 4 rounds, every minute on the minute, 4 movements, so 16 minutes, a 1-minute rest in between the rounds. So that gives us a minute to prepare for our deadlift, increase load, or whatever we wanna do. 5 deadlifts, 15 heavy kettlebell swings, 10 barbell floor presses, and sandbag rotational back lunge. We're gonna get into this. Let's rock and roll. What's going on?
I used a different weight for my floor press.
Oh, yes. You could strip it. It's probably do the same. It's fine.
I just have another bar ready. Yeah, so I don't have
I'm
to.
just rolling.
Okay. 4 rounds. Make sure we got this timer going on. Happy Tuesday. It's been a beautiful day outside today. Gotta load the weight first, you know. How is everybody today? Good to see you guys.
You ready to do this or what?
I'm ready. Let me know when you want to do the 3, 2, 1, go.
Whenever.
All right, first set of deadlifts. You got about 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
So nice flat back, hips hinge backwards, fairly vertical shin. Your knees come forward a little bit, that's okay. But we want to avoid the squat. Focus on maximal hip flexion, minimal knee flexion, that nice vertical tibia or shin. So you've got a nice clean bar path that's pulling straight up. You should be pulling from the anchor in your hamstrings as the draw, okay? Not the lumbar or the lower spine. Should be in an overextension or arch. That rib cage should stay planted and tight, so what I call short ribs and tight abs. We only had 5. That's cool. Allie likes to double reps. That's just how she rolls. So she did 10. You're supposed to be doing 5. 9 hours off, so I missed all that.
So we got 5.
So vertical shin, I walk up to it. Hips hinge back. Knees may come forward a little bit. 5 deadlifts.
5. Kettlebell swing.
15 swings. I want you to think on those, not cranking the cervical spine. Same with deadlifts, since we're going down, we're not looking forward. Neutral spine. How would Batman move? Batman has a mask. He can't turn his head. He looks like this, right? Batman hinges here, right? Keep that in mind.
Looks like you need 7. All right.
Rotational back lunges now. Move up here. How's our clock? Are we ready?
2, 1. There we go.
And go over top of the leg, over top of the leg. 10 on each.
I love these. I haven't done these in a long time.
Nice and tight with that core, stabilizing that anti-rotational component at the very end. We have water-filled sandbags, so water bags. If you have a backpack, great alternative. Put a gallon of water into it or 2.
On each side.
Even a gallon of water. Got a gallon of water, hold it. Work into the rotations with that.
So when the bell rings, we
Take
go
1 minute rest. Second round, increase load on the deadlift if you can. So you got a minute rest.
We got about 35 seconds left.
How we doing out there? Who's on today? Jessica Lynn, what's up? Robin, Lindy, Mackie, Preston, Jessica Wright.
He's from Medford.
What's up, everyone? Hopefully we're all doing well out there today. Hopefully you guys are getting the lift on. Maybe do it later, right? Get your coffee on at least with us. Come on. Time to work.
5 seconds. Chest press. Press.
Kettlebell swing.
Almost forgot. I was thinking of the floor press.
All right, 15 swings on a minute. Get ready.
5 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Nice work. So on those swings, try to be really dynamic with those hips. I could care less about how the arms travel. In fact, this thing, known as the American swing, causes more damage to the shoulders and probably good. Return on investment is not there for the average human. It lacks that level of mobility necessary to get that tight grip overhead with full extension without falling into internal rotation of the shoulders, wrecking those shoulders, okay? So keep that in mind. Floor presses. So when we shoot on those swings, I keep the elbows tight, hands loose. All in the hips. All in the hips. All in the hips.
Booty, baby.
All right, 10 presses. Sandbag rotational lunges next. You're going over top of the lead leg. Try to leave the arms really dead and straight. Shoulders are rolled back. And get that motion now. Control the core at the very end range, stopping the rotation. Abs tight. Last one. Those 10. So you keep going, I'm telling you.
That was my 10.
Yeah, count them.
1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4.
My rep count is broken. So we have a 1 minute rest now. Catch our breath. We're going to increase the load on the deadlift. Third round now. Yeah, here. Short little break. Hopefully you're recovering, catching the breath. So if you're just joining in, today's workout we went through, we have two parts, part A, mobility, part B, strength, intervals. Part A, a lot of full body movement, dynamic. Part B, deadlifts, 5 rep sets, 4 rounds, increasing in load each round, 15 heavy kettlebell swings, 10 barbell floor presses, and 10 sandbag rotational lunge. We're gonna get back to our third round in 15 seconds.
Oh, perfect. Perfect timing. Too much coffee, you know?
All right, let's get ready. Strong step, come on.
Take our time here. I'll start it in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Kettlebell swings. I think we have traded coffee. Hi.
15 heavy kettlebell swings next.
All right, kettlebell swing. You got 15 seconds.
Lots of time.
I'm telling you.
Lots of rest on that ground, okay? So, it's good to start with that kettlebell about 12 inches away from your shin. Tilt it like you're gonna snap a football. Let that momentum swing back into dynamic hip extension, using that elastic energy of the hamstrings. Think of the hamstrings like a slingshot. By driving the butt backwards, right, with a nice flat back, puts a lot of tension on those hamstrings. Nice dynamic slingshot forward.
Floor press.
All right. Straight floor presses on the negative, the dynamic, on the extension, the concentric, positive.
2, 1.
Think of bending and spreading the bar with the grip. Keep your shoulders nice and safe under tension. Stabilize, power out. Lower down, pause, power out. 10 of them. Sandbag rotational back lunges are next. Here we go. Over top of the lead leg, chest up, arms straight. Nice and fluid, core tight the whole way. Sandbags. These sandbags are from the Ultimate Sandbag from a guy named Josh Hankins, and his course, training modality, concept, methodology, dynamic, variable resistance training. perform better, check them out. Ultimate sandbag, those are what you want, the best out there. So short little rest, last round. We're gonna increase, so we have 1:20 rest on this. So bear with me here. This is our fourth and final set. We're gonna push the load up just a little higher on this one. Close out this round. Definitely feeling it, sweating my butt off. Cardio's pushing because of the short rest. Anaerobic intervals, sprints. Here we go. Last set.
Kettlebell swing.
Set of 4 presses.
20 seconds.
Last set of sandbag rotational lunges. Going over top of the body. Here we go. Over top of the knee. Shoulders back, arms straight. 10 each. Core tight. Stabilize that anti-rotation.
Naked.
Nice little press.
So good.
Let's go on our knees. Sit back on our ankles. Flatten our feet out. Short little stretch here. Catch your breath. Recap today's workout. Good little push today. We kept the mobility at 3 rounds every minute on the minute, 10 PVC pass-throughs, 5 inchworm push-up, added a cobra on the last couple rounds, into a loaded beast with a deep lunge, to a static kettlebell goblet squat, really opening the knees, hips, ankles, little movement and rotation in the bottom, digging into those ankles a little deeper. Part B was a strength component, 4 rounds every minute on the minute, increasing load, 5 rep deadlift set, work to a heavy 5 rep on the 4th set. Not max, but about 70%. You got a minute rest in between that after each round, so you get a little bit of rest to increase. Number 2 went into a heavy kettlebell swing for 15 reps. And then from the kettlebell swing into 10 barbell floor presses. Nice, slow, static, controlled eccentric or negative with a pause on the ground. I like that pause on those floor presses because it forces you to generate power out of the hole where you have no muscular tension, okay? So you have to be able to recruit muscular tension into a contraction and explode right out of that range. It's really, really important in athletics and any kind of like, not only performance, but even functionality in the real world, you know. People that injure themselves through occupational, pieces. It's common for guys, stronger guys, to tear biceps in occupational work, like, a lot of elbow movement, delivery drivers, FedEx guy, right? Lots of this stuff, moving those elbows, same kind of motion. Really common injury, shoulders and biceps, okay? What happens when we're in that resting position, we have to be able to generate force from no muscular contraction, okay? Because you're dead, you're sedentary. That's why I want that pause in those. I noticed you on that last set, a missus here was kind of coming down, not quite getting that pause in. There's a reason for it, but that's okay, we'll work on it. This is something that it's a real trained skill and it's almost hard to do. We come from originally more of a bodybuilding background, so some of this power and explosive stuff is a little bit newer, and it may be for you as well. Or maybe you've been doing it forever. And then the final one is a sandbag rotational back lunge. So the most common household injury is taking the wet clothes from the washer and moving them into the dryer because we lack the control within our core, right? Core is really from your knees all the way up to your shoulders, all right? And all of that stuff works together in unison. And agonist and antagonistic muscles, okay? So the prime mover and then the one that's like the stabilizer on the opposite side, right? They all work together. And when we're going over top of that leg, it's forcing you into not just controlling the rotation, but what I like about the sandbag is the fluidity of the movement, the momentum, forces you to stabilize that end range, which is the anti-rotational abilities. So to be able to wind up and create more of a slingshot or a coiling type of method, there's a really popular method out there called the WEC method right now that really focuses on a lot of coiling of the trunk and the entire body. Again, it all connects all the way down to the toes and the feet, and that's a big part of the WEC method. So if you want to learn more about rotational forces and powers and how to develop all that stuff, check out WEC method. Another great resource, functional patterns, Naudi Aguilar, some really different stuff. A lot up for speculation and debate as he gets into little wars on what's the right methodology. But some good resources out there. Hopefully you check into that stuff. And one last one, these sandbags from the Ultimate Sandbag. I want to give a shout out to Josh Hankin, the DVRT, Dynamic Variable Resistance Training course. This guy really took care of us throughout our last couple businesses and in the past, and really hooked us up. And so again, if you're not following Ultimate Sandbag, go check them out. Get their sandbags; they're the absolute best on the market. Period. Ours had water in them today, so nice, different variable that creates that motion. So check them out. that's enough rambling and coffee talk for today.
Coffee talk.
That's what today is about. Tuesdays and Thursdays, you get a different kind of class. We lecture, we teach, we talk, we shoot the stuff. And she gets on me about my 4-letter words. So, STUFF. It's 5. We're good. Okay. High five.
High five. So good.
You guys are awesome.
Oh my gosh, I'm stiff.
See you next week live in the flesh. We'll have some online stuff still going as well. So if you've been following, you're not ready to come into the gym, that's cool. We'll have online workouts as well. See ya.